2024 could not be a better year for mobile gamers, and AFK Journey takes the crown for most innovative idle game of the year. But with every new game comes new tier lists, and we have one prepared by our veteran players, so let's just jump right into the AFK Journey tier list. Scarlita doesn't give the enemy team a moment's notice or a break. At match start, she descends in the middle of the field with a huge AoE that stuns. Then she resumes her regular cycle consisting of large radius attacks covering multiple tiles, and each ability has knockback, so she really just manhandles the enemy from start to finish. S tier. Dianelle's normal basic attacks are ranged and penetrate enemies right off the bat. The more attack you build him with, the more attack speed he passively gains, making him very easy to build. As fights rage on, he eventually builds up to dealing true damage and wreaks total havoc by the end of a fight. S tier. Burial is the shadow of the night, moving across the battlefield while invincible and draining the enemy's energy and life. If hiding in the shadow making him invincible wasn't enough, his shadow lurks after death, waiting to take over a victim and bring Burial back to life. Gotta give this one props. A tier. Rainier controls all positioning on the battlefield. He can swap an ally's position with a symmetrical enemy at match start, giving a whole new purpose to character placement. His ultimate drags his target into the Shadow Realm with him, clearing up the field for a minute. And a bonus knockup in his kit cause he wasn't controlling enough. Double S tier. Cassidy is your basic mage with a magical spell damage AoE that knocks back and a single target nuke. Her real value comes from her blessing, which when put on an ally causes their attacks to do additional damage from Cassidy. A tier. Vala marks a target and deals enormous damage to the target she marked. Her kit is extremely offensive, boasting true damage, and all her attack buffs make way for her to do huge damage. After defeating her marked target, she goes berserk, buffing her attack even more for the next marked target. Double S tier. Rowan is good for spamming your team with energy gain. He has a 2-in-1 function, and when deployed you can expect him to either 1. Absorb all the enemy's energy for your team, or 2. Heal your team. Either way, he's a top tier support. Double S tier. Atalanta does the opposite of what you'd normally want a ranged attacker to do. When the match starts, she pushes enemies away, which is good, but she follows up with a dash towards the enemy, putting her right at the heart of chaos. Needless to say, this is not where you want your damage dealers to be. D tier. Tamicia rides around on this horse, whacking people off like it's nobody's business. Her endless charges through the field make her impossible to crowd control, and she plays by her own rules. Tamicia sets the bar for all bruisers and takes tenacity to a whole new level. A tier. Brutus is the classic spin to win. If you don't know what that means, it's pretty much what it sounds like. He swings his sword round and around, causing damage to enemies in the area with every swing. He's got a taunt, life drain, one-time death ignore. What else do you need in your tank? A tier. Lumont unfortunately didn't make the cut, and it's honestly a shame because he is without a doubt, in my opinion, the coolest looking character the game has to offer. He's tanky in a crowd, but also has ramping damage that doesn't quite work with his own kit. While you'd think he may be a decent tank, his measly shield pales in comparison to the other tanks in the game. D tier. Smokey and Mirki give you an area of respite during the battle by placing down an aroma field. Allies in the field gain attack buffs and healing over time. As long as they're buffing at least 3 people, then they'll also get a nice attack buff themselves. Anyways, team attack buffs is the perfect sweep setup, so double S tier. Reese locks onto the target and they don't let up. Reese can attack while moving and is essentially immune to crowd control. He also knocks enemies about while running around. An annoyance to fight, but quite fun to use. A tier. Shakir disregards all combat norms and instantly transforms into his ultimate form, a vicious wolf with enhanced combat capabilities, defense, and lifesteal. His strategy may be straightforward, but the damage meter makes him worth it. S tier. Hewin is your traditional healer. She has AoE heals over time and a single target healing ability to keep your team topped up. If you get debuffed or crowd controlled, she can take care of that too with her cleanse, the ideal healing unit. Double S tier. Iron is the nimble one, but with a twist. So yeah, he has additional dodge and self-shielding, which makes him a pain to hit, but just in case a ranged attacker gets on him, he's got bonus range defense too. One good thing he can do is reduce the enemy's magic defense, which is both rare to find and extremely valuable when paired with a strong magic damage dealer. S tier. Granny Donnie is a bit of a menace. She taunts the enemy, forcing them to attack her, and she thrives when being focused. Draining the enemy's energy and health while tank and spanking with a grandma is a hilarious sight to behold. A tier. Bryan is like a 2-in-1 kinda unit. His ultimate summons his girlfriend Alona to help you fight. When Bryon gets controlled, Alona blows them up with huge damage, and between the two of them, this is rarely ever a wasted slot. S tier. Thorin is a beast of a frontline. His ultimate slams his sword in the ground, absorbing damage around him so he can retaliate with a counter based on the damage he took. If for whatever reason he dies, then he gets a free revive once per match and can recover his health with an HP drain to jump back into the fight. Double S tier. Carolina is the snowy witch, plaguing the field with snow and frost, inflicting foes with frostbite. She surrounds herself with snowballs to counter melee attackers, all the while charging her big ice blast that covers the field in frost. S tier. Igor plays by his own rules, jumping from tombstone to tombstone around the enemy. His constant displacement makes him hard to target, allowing him to use his high damage AoE ultimate to his heart's content. Even when dealing the fatal blow, Igor just dodges it and jumps to the next tombstone. A solid choice of assassin. S tier. Cecilia is a common trope we should all be familiar with by now. Backline damage dealer summons a giant hulking frontliner with her ultimate. Once she gets out Mr. Carlisle, it is game, set, and match. You can easily overwhelm enemies with your additional manpower alone. Forget about her supreme damage just on her own, she brought backup. Double S tier. Valen overwhelms foes with a chaining flurry of attacks. Every ability is a blur of multiple strikes that amount for nothing short of great damage. However, this is his one trick, but even with nothing else, he's still pretty good. A tier. Muriel takes being a fire mage quite literally. Every single one of her abilities sets the enemy ablaze. AoE fire, single target ignite, and her auto attack is actually her fireball skill. A necessary character for any burn-oriented team. B tier. Marilee may seem like every other common AD carry, but her buffs help her fill both that carry role and the support buffing role as well. Attack, speed, and crit damage all ramp up while she attacks, and if an enemy gets too close, she leaps out of the action. Every third auto attack stuns, and she surely will serve you well as a damage dealer. A tier. Lucius has a pretty straightforward ability kit. He supplies shields for the whole team, meanwhile healing allies when he shields himself. He may not be a top tier tank, but there's certainly something special about his 2-in-1 support tank capability. B tier. Corinne is a bit of a lane bully by bashing the enemy into their own backline, then immobilizing them there. But if an ally is in trouble, he leaps to their rescue with a shield and some deadly true damage at the landing site. His guaranteed crit means you can build him for big damage right away. S tier. Faye is one of the more mid supports despite having a kit that exists primarily for healing. Every skill is a heal, but that doesn't make her good. For example, one heal is simply a single target heal over time. She may suffice in the early game, but you should try and replace her eventually. C tier. Walker comes into the match, guns blazing, throwing explosives that stun the enemy straight out of the gate. His basic attack is an AoE, and he is loaded with stuns, all the while focusing the enemy's top DPS, so yeah, quite the show stealer we got here. B tier. Odie is the Poison King. His ultimate inflicts continuous damage on the target, but his auto attacks have increased damage against poison targets. His skill is straight up a triple shot auto attack because his kit revolves around nuking that poison target. Really good for bosses. Double S tier. Seth is a jumpy boy. No, but really, he jumps around a lot. If you have an affinity for displacement on your team, then Seth surely can scratch that itch for you. He dashes all over the field and teleports to targets repeatedly, nailing them for high damage. A tier. Kruger is a viable bruiser that can assist you with defense breaking the enemy team. He excels when by himself on the battlefield, which may be a little counterproductive in a game primarily consisting of 5v5s. C tier. Citrana is a very strange off tank that pairs very well with allies that can ignite enemies. She goes invincible while channeling her ultimate and has innate lifesteal. She could be a decent candidate when looking for some survivability for your team. C tier. Coco isn't messing around. Her ultimate, buffs and damage reduction for all. Her skill, heals and buffs. And her second skill, high value damage and debuffs. This is the perfect wild card for your team. All the buffs being thrown around like hotcakes is enough to complement any team. Double S tier. Antandra can take it. She's capable of handling multiple enemies on her at once with her shielding supplemented by her riposting stun. She attack breaks nearby enemies, elongating her survival, and throws her shield on an ally as well, cause why not? S tier. Arden is the perfectly complementary crowd controller. He summons vines to entangle enemies and deals increased damage to crowd-controlled foes. He gains energy much faster when fighting controlled enemies, so pairing him with other CC is preferable. A tier. Leica does a little bit of everything in a rather niche fashion. Her ultimate shoots a piercing arrow that causes allies to spawn additional comets while attacking. Of course, they're all going to need an attack speed buff to make the most of that, so she supplies that too. S tier. Damien builds this little toy chariot that does a ton of stuff. It increases allies' haste, blinds enemies, and restores health and energy. A unique but effective support. S tier. Khafra is quite shocking when it comes to his performance. At a glance, he may seem like your basic bruiser charging down enemies with self-buffs and defense breaks, but what sets them apart is that their AI will focus the enemy's healer. Needless to say, this is invaluable when it comes to games with auto battles. B tier. Parisa is a mage that primarily focuses on buffing her and an ally's attack speed. Her ultimate is an AoE that blooms a flower on the enemies, and her auto attacks can trigger a line of damaging flowers as well. Not the worst, but certainly not the best. C tier. Niru gives an ally a second chance to redeem themselves after they die. One of his skills can execute low health enemies with big damage, and the other simply life drains every enemy to heal an ally. A good choice for some extra survivability, and not too bad for damage either. A tier. Sylvina gives you a head start on the enemy team by allowing strategic unit placement before the battle starts. She will teleport to her mirror target and begin AoE slashing away. She starts with a shield, and this can be a game changer when fighting those pesky burst mage teams, but careful, you don't want to send her directly to her death. S tier. Salazar is okay. He has mediocre melee damage that increases when the enemy's HP is low. He can crowd control enemies and recover HP from it, but rest assured, there's better CC out there. C tier. Viperium boasts all the traits of a powerful warlock, burning off his own HP to deal massive damage to the enemy, only to turn right back around and drain the health back. If you ever need damage over time for any reason, Viperion is your guy. S tier. And that's going to do it for our AFK Journey tier list. Of course, all tier lists are subjective, so if there's anybody you feel was ranked incorrectly, let us know why in a comment. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to join my Discord, but other than that, y'all, that's going to do it for me today, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.